Alright, well, my name is JJ, and I'm a folder. And I will be folding my own design. Hopefully my own design. Maybe somebody already came up with it. But it starts with 2 pieces of paper, one for the stem, long and thin. Usually I just rip it from a whole piece of paper, widthwise, and I have like 5 of these. What I do with this one is just start rolling it. It's might get a little tough because it needs to roll to a very fine point so that it starts stacking up. And as you keep an angle and you keep rolling it, it becomes the stem. While some people would prefer to tape it at the end, I just fold it over to lock it in place, because this tension, this force here can actually help with holding onto the flower. So this will be the stem, and it will come in to play later, and it can also be used as a little tool for opening stuff up. So I keep it around for that. Now let's move on to the flower. I'm going to be doing a simple square spiral flower, which I either invented or saw somewhere and imitated, but it is very simple because it just spirals the bottom from a base that you will see. I don't really keep track of the names of the folds or bases or anything like that, so I guess it would be easier to just follow along as you see. So there's the basic, and if you flip it, since I'm using 2-sided paper, I could flip it and it's the same color. But you would start on the opposite side if you're doing a 1-sided paper. So this is basic for creating a crane, bringing those flaps to the middle, and then we're going to put those flaps on the inside to create that kind of a, well, I remember the name, not kite base, I suppose. And that's pretty much the only shaping for the petals that there's going to be, except the curling at the end, which you will see using this little tool that I've created from another piece of paper. That is also the stem for the flower. As you can see, this is I do most of the folding in the air because I'm used to folding on a subway. So we're at the kite base, and we bring these up and open these up, and we bring all 4 of them up, so it ends up looking like a triangle. So now we have 4 partitions, which are going to be where the petals are going to come out of. What we do is bring this valley fold in here of this petal into a mountain, creating 2 valleys to line up with the top and flatten the petal out. And now we repeated this step for all these petals. I am not doing the spiral flower. Oh well, next time. This is the most basic reverse squared flower. And I only realized that right now. Because, yep, alright. So, well, we brought all four of those up. And now it's the first part of the reverse squared. Then we reverse them again, which you have to kind of flatten this out and then flip it and decide which point along this do you really want to make it. I usually do for 1/3, especially if it's just a basic kite base. So, yep, so I fold one, and then it sort of maps out where the other one's gonna go, and I flatten this out. And I do this for all the petals. I know they don't seem much like petals, they're more like spikes right now, but you'll see. So a third here, a third there, and now we have this sort of nice little spiky thing, which is going to be the flower bud. So now, since it's a nice little porcelain bottom, often, I just rip it open a little bit so I can put the stem through it when there's a time for it. So after this step, you can do many things with this, but I typically either start to curl it straight away, or I do another reverse, making a reverse cubed, I suppose. But this one is a soft crease. It's not a sharp crease. It's just a fold over. This creates like a rounded edge, which is really nice for flowers, especially. And now we have a somewhat flowery type. Now I'm going to use the stem that I created before to roll this up onto the stem, create a curl, and it makes a curled little petal for all of them. And this becomes the most basic reverse squared, because reverse cube doesn't actually apply because that's not a fold, that's just a bend. So it's a reverse squared flower of my own design. And then I put the stem right through there. It goes all the way to the bottom. And then you have to open this up a little bit so this can fit through. And that, by going all the way in, that spring on the end of it that I did ends up being very good for holding it in place so it doesn't slip. You can also put it a little further down, and that wedges in at the bottom, holding it even better, and you can like spin it very nicely. I like that spinning. And if you want, you can also stylize the stem by just pressing it at breaking it at different segments to create a more realistic looking stem, though probably wouldn't be as bright as this green. But here is the most basic, possibly my own design, reverse squared flower. And I guess that will be the first video I create, and there will be hopefully many more of me creating flowers of my own design, because that's really the point of this. Well, thank you for watching if you did. If you created your own flower from this, I appreciate the effort you put in. Thank you for giving this a try. See you next time.